Well, hello everyone and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Emily Buck. I'm the Director of Communications and Marketing for the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and I'm joined by my friend
Jason Harmon, Tennessee Wildcast host and communications manager.
Well, super excited to have you in my kitchen today, Jason.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to cooking up a great meal here.
Okay, so this is going to be a fun one. So I was sleeping and it came to me in a dream that it'd be a lot of fun to do a duck recipe that was a play on an old-fashioned cocktail.
Okay.
Traditional old-fashioned flavors go very well with duck. You have orange as a garnish. You often will see a cherry as a garnish. And of course, if you're like me, you think bourbon goes well with everything. So we're gonna start by making our marinade so that we can let this duck hang out for a bit while we get the rest of our ingredients ready, okay?
Perfect.
So I've off camera went ahead and juiced 1 orange. You're also welcome to use orange juice from the bottle if that's easier, if you've already got it in the fridge. Okay, so next we're going to add our duck. This is wild duck that I had the opportunity to harvest out in West Tennessee with a really great event we'll talk about more in just a little bit. So we're just gonna lay these pieces in and set this off to the side. Okay, next we like to add our salt and our pepper. And you can do all of this seasoning to taste. I'm a bit known for having a heavy hand with seasoning. And then I like to come through with some garlic. Now here's the thing, this is the marinade, so all this garlic won't live on in the dish. So don't be too afraid of being heavy-handed with that. Next, I've got just a little bit of chopped up onion. Again, I think one thing with this recipe is that, you know, some of the flavor, some of the ingredients we're going to be using are pretty sweet. So kind of upping the savory a little bit to balance that out. All right, now I've got a half cup of water, and we're just going to add that too. If you wanted an extra dose of flavor or even more savory taste, you really could do this with some chicken stock as well. But this keeps it pretty light on the marinade. Okay, that's all for the marinade. So we're going to let this hang out for a minute while we get the rest of the ingredients ready. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back. We are ready to start on our actual cooking process now that our duck has had a chance to marinate. So what we have going on, we're going to be doing a seared duck breast, which has been marinated in orange, and we're going to do a bourbon cherry sauce. All right, so for the sauce, we've got a cup of tart cherries here. I used frozen cherries from the freezer aisle, mostly because they're already pitted, and that saves you a lot of time compared to having to use a fresh cherry. Don't use maraschino. You want to use one of these tart cherries so that your sauce has nice depth of flavor. Okay, now we're gonna add the fun stuff. This is 2 ounces of Jack Daniel's whiskey. There you go, pour that right on in there. Perfect. You can also use bourbon, like I said at the beginning. We are, at TWRA, we have a lot of opportunities to partner with Jack Daniel's, who is a producer here in Tennessee. We actually have a really great acorn and oak tree forestry program with them that really helps just restore a lot of great forestry and trees across the state. All right, now we're adding a tablespoon of brown sugar. You can certainly adjust the amount based on how sweet or how savory you want your sauce to be. I'm gonna give you a little scoop of salt to balance out our sugar and a couple twists of pepper.
Perfect.
All right, last thing here for now, I'm gonna give you a couple dashes of bitters.
So how long do we let this simmer down?
You want to let that reduce down to a nice, smooth texture. It might take 10-20 minutes depending on heat. I'm going to turn down just a notch so we're not at a rolling boil quite so much.
Ready.
All right, so sauce is looking good. It's had a few minutes here. Let's go ahead and add to it a little bit of butter. Because who doesn't love butter?
Perfect.
All right, while that melts in there, we're gonna go ahead and get our duck going. So it's been in the marinade now for about an hour. You can leave it longer. If you're in a rush, you can pull it out quicker, but the longer you leave it in there, the more of that flavor and moisture you're gonna get in your duck breast. Okay, we've got a hot cast iron over here, and we are gonna get these guys in. All right, here we go. You can pat these dry. I always just kind of let them drip dry a little bit so there's not too much moisture on them.
So what temperature are we going to try to achieve on this?
With duck, a nice medium rare will do the job. If you are one of those people that prefers your wild game cooked a little bit more, if it makes you just sleep better at night, you absolutely can go up to medium if you like, but a medium rare is perfect for duck. All right, we're gonna let this sear off for a couple minutes each side. Now there's actually a fun story that goes with this duck.
Yeah.
So for the first time ever, at the beginning of this year, back in duck season, the agency partnered with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Foundation to host the first ever ladies duck hunt. So of course the agency and the foundation and our friends over at the Federation as well, we love to put on outreach events to help people learn about different opportunities in the outdoors. So this event, we were able to find 12 private blind owners who were willing to offer up their blind for a day and be guides for these ladies who had never duck hunted before.
First time fowlers.
First time fowlers. And so we had 50 women, myself included. It was my first time duck hunting, so these are my first ducks ever.
I didn't get to go.
Sorry. But it really was a really rewarding experience, and the camaraderie in a blind, the sunrise coming up over the water, it really is just an incredible opportunity.
And the food.
And the food.
Can't duck hunt without food, right?
Yeah, we had a really great guide, Mr. Ray Hurt, and he was our guide and blind owner who let us hang out with him for the day. And they made us some delicious sausage biscuits with grape jam and eggs, and his hunting buddy Ashley was with him. I mean, it just was a really great opportunity for us. We had a great time. All right, so you can see we got a nice sear on this side of the duck, and what I like to do when I'm on the second side, because I do want to make sure I get a little bit of a sear, and if there's too much moisture in your pan, you might not get a good sear. But I like to toss some butter in when I'm on the second side.
Nice.
To let it get some of that flavor in as well.
This is
starting to look good?
coming along, yeah.
Coming along? Okay. I'm also going to hit these ducks just a touch more salt, since some of that salt that we put in the marinade stayed in the marinade. You're doing a great job saucing.
Thank you. You're doing great as well.
Now, once we get this sauce reduced down, we're actually going to add some goat cheese to it.
Okay, cool.
The goat cheese really gives it some of that tart creaminess that balances out a lot of the sweetness of a cherry sauce.
Could you try this dish with other wild game, you think?
You know, absolutely. I think there's a lot of opportunity to, you know, try out a variety of things. Orange is actually a very traditional flavor with duck. You hear about orange duck in Chinese cuisine pretty routinely. A cherry sauce, certainly something you'll see served with duck in a restaurant. But I actually have made this before with chicken. So it also goes great with chicken. All right, let's get a peek and see how we're doing on our second side. Looking good, looking good. not too long now before duck season gets going.
Yeah, maybe I'll find me a spot to go this year.
Absolutely. If you don't have private land duck hunting blinds or property, be sure to check out our segmented hunt, quota hunt opportunities.
Yep.
We have 42 blinds that are pre-built by the agency. They're short hunts, like a nice weekend hunt, and you can check out early, middle, and late segments. So there's quite a few more opportunities to get in that quota hunt draw. So if you haven't checked that out, you can find all the details of that at tnwildlife.org, our website.
Yeah, definitely. And I wore my Ducks Unlimited vintage shirt today just for the duck.
Looking sharp. Okay. These are looking pretty close to me.
Yeah.
All right, let's pull these off and let them rest a bit while we finish up on our sauce.
Sure. Just like other meats and things, they'll cook a little bit while they rest, right?
Yes. Resting is so important because it gives the meat an opportunity to reabsorb its juice before you slice it. So if you slice into meat right away, it's gonna run all over the plate instead of staying in there. All right, let's check and see how you've got it going over here.
What do you think?
I think it could use just a touch more.
Yeah, it's reducing pretty good though. Starting to thicken a little bit too.
Ultimately, it's going to taste equally delicious no matter when you pull it off. So it's really just a matter of texture and how much moisture it still has, how runny it still is when you put it on the duck. All right, so our cherries have reduced down to just the perfect consistency.
Of course they have.
So the last thing we're gonna add is just this little bit of goat cheese here. And that will just help give it so much great flavor. So we've taken this off the heat. Goat cheese is very creamy to start with, so you don't need the extra heat to melt it, but just the leftover heat from this sauce is gonna help incorporate that right in.
That's looking really good.
So we're just gonna give this a nice stir till all that goat cheese is in.
This is one dish, the aromas, the different smells that we've had, the cherries, the whiskey, the cheese.
Sorry, we don't have smell-o-vision, folks.
It's great, yeah.
All right, that's perfect. So here we've got a couple of our duck breasts. So what we'll do is we'll just give this a nice little topping of that cherry. And it's good to go. All right, well, thanks everybody for coming into our kitchen.
Yeah.
We're super excited about tucking into this duck.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, stay tuned for more great cooking shows and be sure to follow us on social media so that you can keep up with all that we've got going on at the TWRA.